Hi, and welcome back to Bounce Board with me, Tiff Hall. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which I'm recording this podcast, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to elders past and present. Tyler asked me a great question. We've just had Easter and you did a story where you said, enjoy the chocolate and don't feel guilty. Remember, a treat will never make a difference to your progress, but a binge will. I love this. I'm someone who struggles with binge eating, I think. Can you tell me the difference between having a treat and having a binge, Tiff? Yeah. So this is a great question. Eating a treat and a binge represent very different behaviors and experiences around food with distinct implications for different varies of physical and mental health, okay? So if we're thinking about a treat refers to the occasional consumption of something that you really enjoy, usually considered to be an indulgence and not part of your regular diet, or sometimes food. And these foods are often higher in sugar or fats or calories. And the key characteristics of eating a treat include there's some form of control or moderation. Treats are consumed in moderate quantities, reflecting you have a balanced approach to diet where such foods are enjoyed occasionally without overindulgence. There's an element of control. You feel like in control of your eating behavior when you're having the treat. You're deciding to eat the treat. You're making that decision. And you're conscious of that choice rather than feeling compulsion. And there's pleasure. You're eating the treat and you're feeling positive emotions and satisfaction and enjoyment, and you're deliberately self-indulging in something enjoyable. And there's no negative feelings. You're not having lasting guilt or shame or negative feelings about the Easter egg you ate 2 weeks ago. You're feeling it's part of your balanced lifestyle. And there's often a social element where there's people around, it's part of a social activity, and you're getting a lot of enjoyment out of it. Now, a binge is very different. Binge eating is characterized by consuming large quantities of food in a very short period, often much more than most people would eat under similar circumstances, okay? So it's not a normal amount of food in a short amount of time. Binge eating episodes are marked by feelings of loss of control completely, and they have some key characteristics. So you have the excessive consumption of an amount of food that is significantly larger than what you would normally eat. There is a feeling of lack of control. You cannot control how much you're eating, and you're not satiated no matter how much you eat. There's an element of emotional distress. You feel guilt, you feel shame, you feel distress, you feel disgust. It's not an enjoyable experience. And rather than one that is enjoyable and is self-indulgent and you feel that it passes and it goes away and you don't think about it again, it often sits with you for a long amount of time. And it's usually used to cope with negative emotions. So binge eating is usually there as a coping mechanism. Then there's frequency. Whilst you may have a treat every now and then, binge eating often can occur regularly, once a week or more even, over a period of at least 3 months. So there's a lot of binge episodes. There's no compensatory behaviors. So unlike bulimia, or binge eating doesn't typically involve regular use of excessive exercise or fasting to compensate. And it is often very secretive. So you're hiding the food wrappers, you're eating it away from others, you're hiding packets, and you're trying to not let others know how much you've eaten. So the difference between a treat and a binge, it lies around the amount of food consumed. So binge will always have so much more food involved, and the emotional experience associated with the eating behavior. So the degree of control over eating and the secrecy. So eating a treat is a controlled, moderate, and enjoyable act, whilst binge eating is an overindulgence, lack of control, and a negative emotional experience, and it's done in secret. And I think if you're asking yourself, am I having a treat or am I having a binge? If you're alone and it's secret and nobody else knows you're doing it, like I dealt with binge eating a lot on The Biggest Loser. A lot of my contestants had binge eating disorder. They would drive to fast food, go through drive-through, get all the fast food, then they would drive to a secret car park and they would eat and binge in the car where they weren't at home and nobody could see it, and they would consume all the food as much as they could quickly in the car and then dump the evidence so no one would ever know. That's a binge, okay? But having a treat every now and then, some Easter eggs with your family during Easter, that's a treat. It will never impact your progress. So there are great resources for help with binge eating. The Butterfly Foundation is a fantastic resource. Understanding these differences is important for recognizing unhealthy eating patterns, and seeking appropriate help or treatment is really important. So if someone finds themselves regularly engaging in binge eating, it may be binge eating disorder or another underlying issue, and you might need professional support. So you can contact the Butterfly Foundation for support, and we'll put more information on this in the show notes. Okay, Jamie has a great question. What are the benefits of a full body workout compared to training one muscle group each day? Such a good question, because we always hear about it's back and biceps or it's leg day. And then you have other people doing full body workouts, and it can get really confusing. Total body workouts, where you engage multiple muscle groups with a single session, contrasted to a split routine that focus on one or a few muscle groups at a time. Both approaches have their place in your fitness regime, right? But I think total body workouts offer several benefits that make it more preferable, because you get more bang for your buck. You're hitting those muscle groups more frequently in total body workouts, right? And this is great because you're doing more reps and sets on muscles opposed to training that one body part just once a week in a split program. That's my very basic answer. But there's also other benefits like efficiency. Total body workouts are time efficient, making them ideal for those busy schedules. So you can hit all major muscle groups in a single session, reducing the need for multiple workouts throughout the week to cover the same ground. And as a busy mom and business owner and trying to keep my life together kind of person, I don't have time to do a split routine throughout the week. So I love the total body workouts. You also increase your calorie burn, I think, by working multiple muscle groups in one session. So total body workouts can lead to a higher output compared to focusing on a single muscle group. And this can contribute to weight loss or maintenance goals by potentially increasing the total number of calories you burn, which is great. And then you have increased cardiovascular benefits. So total body workouts, you're moving around with minimal rest, which can keep your heart rate elevated throughout the session and helps improve your cardio fitness, which is really good. And then you're improving your stamina and your endurance. And then you've got improved muscular balance and coordination within that, which is really great. And greater flexibility in scheduling. I think you can just do 3 total body workouts a week and be sweet. I have total body workouts in my TXO program that I think are the most important. And then you've got the frequent stimulation for muscle growth, right? So rather than just training your biceps once a week, with total body workouts, you can be touching on that muscle a couple of times in the week, and that frequent stimulation can be beneficial for muscle growth as long as there's enough recovery time between the sessions to allow for that muscle to grow. I love that there's variety and the reduced boredom factor. It's so important. You're incorporating different exercises, there's equipment, different modalities to target all major muscle groups. I think that's really great. Like I get so bored just like training my back and then training my legs. I just think, having that variety is really important. And then you can also include functional strength exercises that mimic everyday movements. And this approach to training can be particularly beneficial for enhancing quality of life, especially as you begin to age. So, keeping it really functional is very, very important. So at the end of the day, the choice between total body workouts and a split routine may come down to your personal goals. As with everything on this podcast, I always say it does come down to your goals. Total body workouts can be especially advantageous for beginners because if you're limited with time, you can just go in there, touch on all muscles, get your heart rate up, feel really good, and there's a sense of athleticism to it as well. But if you are, for example, wanting to compete in a bodybuilding competition, or you want to really increase the tone in your arms, so you want to just hit the arms 3 times a week, then maybe doing a split routine will suit you more. But if we're going for overall wellness and fitness and glowing health, then I think do your full body workouts and program your regime to be full body workouts, or talk to a personal trainer, or, talk to your gym about how you do that, whether it's circuit training or whatever. But I think that they're really more bang for your buck and more time efficient. Thanks so much for listening to Bounce Forward. I love having your company, so please DM me your questions on Instagram at tiffhall_xo and let me know what topics you'd love me to cover. I never miss a DM. Don't forget to rate and review me on your podcast app. Speak soon. Happy days.